Well, the Arizona Diamondbacks look to bounce back from their series loss to the Dodgers in St. Louis against Kevin's Cardinals. We're going to talk about that series, and we're going to mostly focus on the starting pitching because the Diamondbacks are set up nicely if everyone can do what we know they're capable of. Of course, it's Throwback Thursday. Welcome in. Don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Live from Studio K, it's the PHNX Diamondbacks show from beautiful downtown Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Derek Montia, occasionally known as your mayor of this joint. Welcome in to you guys. Of course, I got my guy, large intimate Kevin Thomas on the ones and twos, or should we call him large trader Kevin Thomas on the ones and twos with the Diamondbacks taking on his St. Louis Cardinals this weekend. Welcome into you guys, of course. Great to have you here. This show is presented by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Go download the Bet365 app now. It makes watching live sports more fun. You can use our code of PHNX365 when you sign up. You get yourself some bonus bets following some criteria. Also, go over to Game Time, get yourself some tickets. First-time users will get $20 off using our code of PHNX. Welcome in to all of you. Great to see you guys here. Great to have Grandmama here. Happy Thursday. Yeah, it's the off day. The Diamondbacks cannot hurt us today. You are correct about that. It's always nice to have at least one day of knowing that there's no way that the Diamondbacks bullpen can make us sad, Kevin. And I know you are hoping that the bullpen does make us sad this weekend, you double agent.
I definitely am, respectfully to the Dbacks or all the Dbacks fans in the chat. I got some hometown allegiance that I got to tend to this weekend, and that's okay every once in a while, I feel like.
Where do you live, Kevin? Where do you live? Where do you currently reside? Where do you lay your head at night?
Well, in my apartment.
Yeah, where's your apartment currently located? You don't have to dox yourself. You can give us a general area.
In the city of Phoenix,
yeah, okay.
Arizona.
All right, well then that's your hometown, goddammit. That is your hometown now, and we are your hometown team, and that's the way that I'm going to approach this. But of course, the Diamondbacks do take on the St. Louis Cardinals this weekend, and it's not as bad, I think, as it was going to be. How many did the Cardinals win in a row there for a minute? Was it 11 or 12?
I think it was 12 or 13.
12 or 13 that they got up to, right? And that team was very hot. The Diamondbacks head to Busch Stadium to take on those Cardinals. We got two 11:15 a.m. starts on the weekend, which is weird. Is that how you guys do things there in Missouri?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think it's not an 11:15 start there, right? So it's a, what, 2:15?
Well, I think it'd be 1:15.
Is it 1:15?
I think right now they're 2 hours behind.
2 hour difference.
Or 2 hours ahead, whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's weird.
It is.
I mean, 1:50. I guess we do our 12:40 start or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean, or like 7:10 at night is strange to me.
That's very late, especially when you're talking usually about the Dodgers, which is already the most West Coast team you could have. I don't understand why their games, which are like, can you imagine being a Dodgers fan on the East Coast? You never watch your team. You never get to see them. But the Diamondbacks, of course, have those two games this weekend. Luckily, the Cardinals have finally cooled off a little bit. They did win those. They went on that incredible stretch. But since then, they are 6-4 in their last 10, and in fact have lost their last two games. I'm not going to say that they are struggling. It's just at least the Diamondbacks aren't catching them in the middle of an amazing winning streak. We do have the Cardinals at a glance here. We could take a look at some of their numbers this season. They have been a very good baseball team so far. Would you say unexpectedly good, Kevin?
1,000%.
Yeah.
I think like me, I wouldn't say like, you or Jesse in terms of like being that dialed in with my team. But yeah, me and my friends before the season, we were all kind of on the same page of like, well, this year's going to be underwhelming / might suck. And it has been very entertaining. And a lot of people have stepped up on the team that I would say Cardinals fans had very low to no expectations for.
Okay, that's fair. Younger guys?
Yeah, some
Yeah.
younger guys, some of your older players, kind of like a Sonny Gray or Miles Michaelis, who we're going to get to in this series,
Yeah.
have overperformed a lot of fans' expectations.
Well, I think Sonny Gray had like a 4.05 ERA this season, which of course I think like one of the highest in the
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the starting rotation. You guys have had some great pitching there, but in their last 10, Cardinals are 6-4. They do have a plus 40 run differential. Again, currently 27-23. They have a 738 OPS, which is 8th in Major League Baseball. I believe the Diamondbacks are currently ranked at 3rd. As Kevin and I discussed with at least the Diamondbacks, it's a bit deceiving considering how inconsistent the Diamondbacks offense has been as of late. But again, the St. Louis Cardinals doing a decent job offensively. And also another thing we discussed in this alternate timeline where the Diamondbacks have the same numbers as the Cardinals, we discussed their starting pitching and relief pitching ERA there. And if you want to throw that back up there, Kevin, you will see that this is a case where the 3.65 and 3.86 doesn't lead the league by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just right there. Good enough for the middle of the pack, unlike the Diamondbacks, who are now have, I believe, the 4th worst relief pitching ERA in all of Major League Baseball. If the Diamondbacks had a 3.86 ERA, could you imagine how many games we would win? Can you imagine? I can't.
They might be close. They might be, running neck and neck with the Dodgers at the top of the division if that was the case.
I mean, again, we know that. We talked about this. We could look at the standings. We're going to look at the standings. There are easily 4 games. And to be honest, that's the fun part about how bad this season has been for the Diamondbacks. Or again, as our guy Nicholas Gruters, I think yesterday put it, it's the 2025, the season of missed opportunities. Put it on a T-shirt because that might be something that keeps going on and on and on. But the Diamondbacks definitely have had at least 4 games that I think we could all pick and choose. We'd have different games. It wouldn't be the same games. We could find different instances. We could argue over it. In fact, maybe, I don't know, that seems like a futile segment to do. I don't really want to do something that sad, but I legitimately feel like people in the chat could have 4 games, and I could have 4 games, and you could have 4 games, and all 4 of those games could all be different games that we feel like the Diamondbacks should have won this season and that they didn't. So, again, there's that when it comes to the current season. With the numbers, the Cardinals starting pitching and relief pitching has been put up. Again, the Diamondbacks probably right there. You could probably find 4 or 5 wins. But let's take a look at another thing that I find to be absolutely fascinating about this Cardinals team. Throw that at a glance back up there. Their outs above average right now are at 25, which is outstanding. That is amazing because we are only what are we 50 games. This is it. The Cardinals right now sit at 50 games into the 2025 season, and they have 25 outs above average. They have 20 runs prevented defensively. They are in first place by a considerable distance. In fact, when you look at the statistical category for outs above average, a lot of teams right now sit in single digits. The Astros are the only team close to the Cardinals. They have 19 outs above average. Then you have the Braves at 17, and we know the Braves have been winning games mostly with their defense quite a bit. The Rangers sit at 15. That's the top 4 teams. Cardinals, Astros, Braves, Rangers for outs above average defensively. The next closest team is the Blue Jays with 7. And most of these teams have not prevented nearly double-digit runs, let alone 20 runs prevented by their defense. And this is, again, an amazing defensive output so far. They have an 81% success rate this year. And they're doing the thing right now for defensively. They are playing flawless baseball, essentially. And in fact, not just flawless baseball, they're making some incredible plays to keep their team in games. It's a big reason why they were able to go on that winning streak that they went on. By comparison, the Arizona Diamondbacks have 1 out above average, 1 single out above average. And Kevin, you laugh at that, but to be fair, it's tied for 13th in Major League Baseball. It's not even that bad at 1 out above average right now. They only have 1 run that they've prevented. And again, when you take a look in the past 2 seasons, 2023, 2024, the Diamondbacks were in the top 3 consistently when it came to outs above average. Their defense was outstanding, was impeccable. It was a big reason why they were able to win so many games both of those seasons. And I know we don't want to really act like they won a lot of games in 2024, but they in fact won more than they did in 2023, which is crazy. But this is, and Mark's right. Yeah, it does make sense that the average would be 0. So yeah, that's how outs above average. That's 15th. But still, it's just the fact that right now there are so many teams in the single digits when it comes to outs above average that it shows how good this Cardinals team has been. The Diamondbacks pitching staff is going to have to be on point, and the offense is going to have to figure out a way to put things together. Again, the Diamondbacks need more offense from guys like Lourdes Gurriel Jr., like Gino Suarez, and can't continue to rely on Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, and Geraldo Perdomo for this season. But let's take a look at the standings. In fact, I don't believe anything has changed, and I don't know why I put myself through this, but here are the standings for the NL West once again. It's a 4-team division, and occasionally we have to also play the Rockies. The Dodgers sit atop of the division now at 31-19, Giants 29-21, Padres 27-20. The Dbacks there sit at 26-24. That's the reason why I bring up that 4-game stretch, at least for right now. You know, you could easily say 4 games in the loss column belong in the win column, and in fact, you probably could also say that some of those games would have been against the Dodgers. So, you know, at least one of them, and you would be probably talking about the Diamondbacks sitting in a tie there at the top of the division. Instead, they are not in any kind of position to be at the tie at the top of the division. However, at least they're still in it, and that's what makes this weekend series with the Cardinals important. Looking ahead at the Diamondbacks schedule for the remainder of May, things aren't very difficult. They do take on a Pirates team that is really struggling. In fact, Kevin, the Paul Skeens trade rumors are already heating up.
It's so sickening.
It's gross, right?
It's horrific.
Oh, your team's bad, so your best player needs to become the subject of trade rumors.
But it's like it's not even like just fans that make the rumors. It's like actual outlets that like, you know, create the narrative of like, is Paul Skeens going to end up in New York? How long until he ends up a Dodger? How long until he ends up in Texas? How long until he like, I don't know. I hate it. I really hate it.
Because that's how teams get good. Teams get good by having a generational player like Paul Skeens, and then you build around him. And you know that you have a player like that that's exciting. You go out there and you invest the money in your team, especially a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know what their financial situation is, but I do know that they have arguably the most beautiful ballpark in all of baseball. I know people love to go there literally just to go to the ballpark, just to be there. Now, it's not a Rockies situation where they don't pay attention to the games and lawsuits have to happen because of it, but it is a place that tends to get a lot of people to go there to visit that ballpark. And I mean, honestly, the Pirates at times very, very much feel like they get things going, that they have a young team that's interesting and exciting. And then like you said, those players move on, they go elsewhere before the team has a chance to build around them. And they still feel like they just kind of struggle there. Again, this is part of your division, right? I'm going to start saying you about stuff when it comes to the Cardinals, you traitor, at least for the next 2 shows, this show and Saturday's show.
Why can't I still love the Dbacks? Like, why can't that's like that?
You know what we do in this office? We pick a side. We don't let you just kind of, I'm going to ride the fence on this one.
But I'm not, though. I have 2 very distinct teams that I support.
Yeah, well, what happens when they play each other?
You know what happens.
Yeah. Do you get YouTube views if the Cardinals win? Huh?
No, but if this happened in the playoffs,
think of the numbers.
If this was a playoff series, I might be rooting a little differently.
I know. Well, people in the chat are talking a little bit there. The basketball football guy says if Skeens joins the Dodgers, we riot. Another MLB lockout. Well, I think that MLB lockout is inevitably going to happen, I believe, in 2026. And I am not looking forward to that. I am not looking forward to what I'm going to have to talk about during any kind of work stoppage when it comes to baseball. So let's hope that doesn't happen. But
welcome to the PHNX Wrestling Podcast.
Oh, that's actually kind of exciting. By the way, I'm definitely signing new clients.
What would you name a PHNX Wrestling Pod?
All-City Pro Wrestling goes pretty hard.
It does.
Like All-City Pro Wrestling.
It does.
I don't need it to be PHNX because we're going to tour the nation, right? We're not going to just do it here in Phoenix. We would, we would go places. We would travel to London for All In, All Out or wherever. I'd like to go to Perth. They're going to be in Perth in Australia, WWE. I've never been to Australia. Let's go. See, we could, the travel budget is going to be insane for this show, but we're going to have a good time. I will also say, Paul Skeens joins the Dodgers. I will also riot. That's something that I can't stand. I don't really, I have to stop. Groundhog Mama says slamming with the caveman. That goes pretty hard. I do like that. This is, again, a series where don't really know what to expect again out of the Cardinals team. I think that at one point when we were looking ahead at the schedule for the month of May, might have bunched this Cardinals team in with the Pirates and the other teams that the Diamondbacks here catch at the end of their month, right? So, and that's probably unjust considering how well that team has played since we started discussing that. But after the Diamondbacks take on the Cardinals, they do come back here for the Pirates, and then they end the season against the Nationals. And Nationals won the last series that they faced against the Diamondbacks. So they're not a team you could take for granted. And of course, this Cardinals team very much is not a team you could take for granted. But the Diamondbacks do have, if you want to say, they have their frontline pitchers ready to go in this series. Possibly the best matchup, possibly the best three guys that they could have going against the Cardinals. But are they? Is Zac Gallen still one of the best guys? We're going to talk about that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Of course, Circle K is the place to go this summer. It's so miserably hot outside already, so go get yourself something to drink. Of course, for Inner Circle members only, they got 79-cent Polar Pops, 99-cent Frosters, 3 for $7 Ghosts. I don't know, I'm not really allowed to do a Ghost ad here, but let me tell you, I am a fan of their flavors. Cherry Limeade, Welch's Grape, they have some incredible flavors of Ghost.
Bo
Those
Brock
are $3 for $7.
Bo Brock sent us a screenshot in our Slack this morning. PHNX Cardinals, Bo Brock. Bo, can you tell Derek what you did today with Circle K?
What did you do today with Circle K?
Just by being a member of the Inner Circle, I unlocked 50 cents off per gallon.
What?
50,
Yeah.
50.
And it's
What?
free money.
What? Free money. Look at that. What are you doing? Go download it right now. Go download the Circle K app. Sign up to become an Inner Circle member for free. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Don't you love free money? Get down on free money, like Bo says. Also, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. It's a great place to go for live in-game betting during these Diamondbacks games or any of these playoff games that have become extremely exciting. And of course, that's because Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 different sports. They also live stream 780,000 events each year. That is why Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. You can get down again with the playoff action on the NBA with the Bet365 early payout offer, where you're a winner if your team goes up by 20 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. So, of course, new customers right now can receive $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use our code of PHNX365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov.
Derek, speaking of our friends over at Bet365, will we be betting on Zac Gallen to get a win this weekend?
That's a great question. I probably don't feel confident enough in Zac Gallen to bet on a win for him. I do feel a little confident about betting on the Diamondbacks overall for like the money line. I just don't know if Zac Gallen necessarily is going to be in line for the win. The problem with the Diamondbacks is that they can tend to score those runs late, right? So if Gallen does find himself in trouble or the Diamondbacks are down early, there's a good chance he could get a no decision in this one. But to be fair, Gallen has not been consistent lately, and I would feel much better about betting on Merrill Kelly in this series, to be honest, especially if you're talking about things like how many outs Merrill Kelly is going to record, perhaps a strikeout total. I know that they tend to underestimate Merrill Kelly, despite him being one of the greatest starting pitchers in Diamondbacks franchise history. And I think that since that 9 earned run performance, Merrill Kelly has been outstanding. So I'm going to maybe wait a day. I'm going to hit it on Merrill Kelly, but I might feel like a Corbin Carroll home run is due tomorrow night. That might be
getting your Dalton Feely on
a little bit. I don't know. Dalton Feely kind of passed on some superpowers to me.
I was gonna ask you. You know Bet365. Are you able to bet on series wins on Bet365?
I don't know. I don't typically see that, but I also
I'm not
know
a huge baseball bettor, so I don't know.
It's usually just a game by game basis, and it's also a little hard sometimes. And this is kind of across the board. This isn't specific to Bet365, but to get those future odds and to see what they're going to have for a game until it actually happens. The reason for that is because of factors, right? Like there's a lot of things that go into this, and the odds makers typically want to make sure that what they're putting out there is, a fairly thought through kind of odd situation, right? Like they got to take a look at factors for a Zac Gallen in a start. Like how good has he been on the road? How good is he in an earlier start? How good is he in a 5 o'clock start in the Midwest?
Is TBD going in game 2?
Yeah. Is that son of a bitch TBD going to be in there? That guy shoves, what can you do sometimes against TBD? But we do have our probable pitchers for this series. Let's take a look at that. Of course, we do have that Zac Gallen guy, the Milkman. I think Milkman going up against the Mickman. He could also be the Milkman.
The Mike Man.
The Mike Man. Mikolas there going for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a pretty marquee matchup, or at least it was what, a year ago or two? I don't know. I feel old now. Merrill Kelly going in game 2 against, is it Libertor?
I've always said, yeah, I guess Libertor. I'm not going to lie. I haven't listened to the media file on that. I don't know if it's got a little French ague on the end. It's supposed to be Libertore.
Libertore?
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Libertore.
He's going up against Merrill Kelly. Very good season so far. 3.92 ERA, 3-3 record. And then Sonny Gray there. Absolutely outstanding record this year, going up against another guy with an outstanding record in Brandon Pfaadt. Sonny Gray, 5-1, but with a 4.02 ERA. And then you got Brandon Pfaadt, I think tied for the most wins in baseball currently at 7-3.
He was the first one to 7, right?
He was the first guy to 7 wins this season.
Also, I think Cam in the chat is correct. His name should be Luchador for the series, at least. Matthew Luchador.
Yeah, no, that's what we're going to change it to. That way we can't really be wrong because we just know we're wrong, right? And that's kind of that. But Zac Gallen, like I brought up, he's the guy that really we are concerned about this season, I think. Zac Gallen has not been very good lately. He's allowed 10 runs on 18 hits in 10 2/3 innings as of late. He's already allowed 10 homers this season after allowing just 13 in 28 starts last season. And I think that's a big thing. It's those home runs that Zac Gallen is giving up is uncharacteristic of anything in his career and is a big reason why we're seeing him give up those big innings and have these pretty bad starts. It's the reason why his ERA is as high as it is. It really feels like, once again, a key factor in that, Kevin, is his fastball, right? Because it doesn't seem like he has good command over his fastball. He's throwing it at times down the middle of the plate just to try to get back into counts or get ahead, and it's not really working for him this season. He's been absolutely crushed at times, and it's just not something that we're used to seeing from Zac Gallen in his career, to be fair. So I don't know. So far this season, though, Zac Gallen has actually been better just a little bit at home than he has away, at least with some of his numbers. Zac Gallen is 8-3 this season at home, 6-3. Oh, wait, no, excuse me. That's for the wrong season. I apologize. That was his 2024 stats. I'm going to pull up his other stats. But Merrill Kelly, meanwhile, has been outstanding. Like I said, he's been incredibly good, incredibly consistent. Since that 9 earned run performance in New York, Merrill has a 2.02 ERA and a 2.42 FIP. He's only allowed 3 earned runs in, and I mean, again, that's just subtracting his first start of the year and that 9-inning kind of, I don't know what you want to call that, an uncharacteristically awful implosion by Merrill Kelly. But with these two guys going in this series again, hypothetically, you should feel confident about what the Diamondbacks can do here against the St. Louis Cardinals. And then Brandon Pfaadt has been the Diamondbacks' most consistent pitcher overall. But going back to his splits from this season, Zac Gallen, once again, 6.03 ERA at home That's the number I was actually looking for. When I looked at the wrong season, those numbers kind of boggled my mind there. But Gallen is 1-4 at home with a 6.03 ERA. What do we do, Kevin? Do we just not let him pitch at Chase Field anymore?
I say you moved all of Gallen's starts to Gotham, and he would win the Cy Young.
The splits are pretty damning. I won't lie. I mean, we're talking about home this season. Zac Gallen has a 272 opponent batting average with a 361 on base percentage. On the road, Zac Gallen has a 174 opponent batting average with a 230 on base percentage. Again, Gallen is 3-3 with a 3.38 ERA on the road. So, Kevin, I think your Cardinals are in trouble. Maybe going back to that bet. Maybe I will think let's change some things.
I have two things for you. First, Groundhog Mama did ask. It was the second comment of the entire stream. Is do you and I have a bet on this series?
Ooh.
And I think we should do a little friendly wager, maybe with Circle K. Maybe the series winner takes the other series loser to Circle K, and the loser has to buy all the snacks. And you can film it and put it on in the Discord.
Maybe like a lunch.
Yeah,
Make a lunch. You can pick a lunch out from Circle K.
Yeah.
All right.
Go get like 4 food items out of the Circle K, and the person will cover it.
I don't hate this. So yeah, let's do that. Let's make that official. If Kevin, the trader himself,
we're handshaking through air right
virtually. If Kevin does in fact, and in his Cardinals, and he betrays us, and his Cardinals win, then I will buy him lunch from Circle K, and he will have to do the same for me. Now, my lunch consists of mostly alcohol, so we'll figure that out.
Derek's like, my 4 food items are 4 30 racks from the beer cave.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly it. But Zac Gallen has fared, let's see, against the St. Louis Cardinals. Gallen has pretty good numbers, I guess, against them. And he's pitched against them 3 times, which, by the way, Gallen drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals.
Correct.
You guys had a banger of some minor league pitchers there that you guys got rid of.
Add Zac Gallen to the list, a long list of players now that the Cardinals have drafted, traded away, and then, some years later have had some pretty serious impact on some winning baseball teams, including a World Series MVP, I believe. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, of course, that's fun when it comes to Gallen and what he could potentially do here against them, again, just for fun. 3.12 ERA in his career against the Cardinals with a 1-1 record in 3 starts.
I love Ryan's comment here because Circle K does, I believe, have some sort of hot wings in their hot food kitchen.
They definitely have cereal.
So,
they have little boxes of cereal.
Maybe I will have to buy some cereal if the Cardinals lose.
The loser is the one that has to eat lunch. When did it come out that I don't like hot wings?
No. It's not that you don't like hot wings. It's that you didn't want to eat them for the fans' entertainment, and that was their problem.
Yeah. No, that's because
you will eat hot wings on this show at some point this season.
I will eat the hell out of some hot wings. The problem is as you and I have discussed, I do not want to get caught on film eating hardly ever. That is one of my biggest fears.
We did just talk about
being at a baseball game. Because here's the problem. When you get caught on camera at a baseball game eating, they don't tell you. They just sit there. They keep you on camera. They'll cut to the at bat, and then they'll come back to you
Derek,
like you're the main character of it.
They'll critique your eating. I was watching, I believe it was the Padres game the other day, and like on a nationally televised game, and this guy was eating some specifically garlic fries, nachos, right? A very messy, borderline disgusting thing to eat. Yummy tasting, but no way you're going to eat that clean, right?
No.
So he's sitting there munching away. The commentary team is critiquing him. They're saying, that's a hard thing to keep clean if you're eating it. He's really enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Talking about him eating.
This guy.
He has no idea he's being broadcast to millions of people.
Yeah.
Millions of people.
Yep. It's
crazy.
awful.
Crazy stuff.
I'm not going to be George Costanza, basically.
I will say, Derek, secretly my goal, though, one of these days, and you're not going to know which, I'm going to bring some hot wings in here, and you're going to have to eat the damn wings.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
It's going to happen on the show, Derek. It's going to happen on the show.
Don't threaten me with a good time because I'll definitely eat some hot wings. But what we are going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and hopefully we'll solidify this bet and the I guess the details of this bet. We're gonna have to drop a contract.
Do we need to get Max in here to see if
definitely
if we can get Circle K to sponsor this situation?
I mean, yeah. You know what? I'll proudly be the mayor of Wingtown. Let's get that going. I'm fine with that. I love wings. But on the other side of this break, we're also going to talk about something else I love, which is on this date historically for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and on this week historically, because it is Thursday. It is Throwback Thursday. Don't worry, we're going to improve that little lower third there. We're going to get some purple on there for sure. Max is in here looking at us like we're a zoo exhibit, and we'll be right back. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show.
We really are in here kind of like the zoo, Derek.
We are like a zoo for sure. But I'll tell you, one way to feel even better, maybe one thing that would enhance a trip to the zoo is Pure Edibles. Pure Edibles was founded in Arizona. They're available in over 130 dispensaries statewide, and they have a wonderful array of products, different candies, not just one candy, not just gummies. That's a popular thing. They do have gummies, and their gummies are not covered in sugar like everyone else's gummies, but they also have hard candies. They have chews. They have their kicks, which are like Starburst. And the best part about Pure Edibles is that the effects are clearly listed on each tin. They're even color-coded in some cases. If it's purple, it's probably going to put you to sleep. It's a sleep edition gummy. Of course, they also have all sorts of wonderful other effects, like uplifting effects, especially after a loss in a Diamondbacks game. It's a great way to bounce back, great way to get a great night's sleep. And they are a company from right here in Flagstaff, Arizona that started at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and now they are made right here in Phoenix. They are designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. But I suggest, of course, always keeping your Pure Edibles to yourself because, come on, it's for you. You bought it. Go out there and find yourself some Pure Edible products from one of over 130 dispensaries from across Arizona. And speaking of Arizona, it's very hot outside. I hate it. I don't know why sometimes I live here because I complain about the heat entirely too much. And I'll tell you, a great way to enjoy Arizona more is to extend your outdoor living space with All Pro Shade Concepts. All Pro Shade Concepts can not only add a motorized awning or a patio shade to your outdoor living space, extending it, they can make sure that they work with your HOAs. They have hundreds of designs and colors to choose from. They can also add remote control features, LED lights, and so much more. Plus, they have roll-down patio shades that can keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler. They can also install those type of shades in your home to keep your home 20 degrees cooler. And that could have a big impact on your electricity bills this summer. Of course, they are a most trusted local shade company, voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024. They have a BBB A+ rating with over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. So call them right now. You can get a free estimate. Call them at 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com now to schedule your free estimate. Well, Kevin, it is Thursday. It is Throwback Thursday. It's not Monday. We don't do the thing on Monday. But, of course, every year on this show is our year. It's the year of the snake. And every Thursday, we throw it back to some historical days of when the Diamondbacks have done some amazing things. In fact, on this exact day in 2004, one of my favorite people in the Diamondbacks organization, a hero, a legend, Juan Luis Gonzalez, collected his 2000th hit in Major League Baseball. So that was a pretty impressive feat. And again, when you take a look back at that roster that won a World Series, there was a lot. There was a lot of guys doing some big things at that time. A lot of legends on that team. Obviously, Gonzo, though, one of the most memorable with his big hit in the World Series. A lesser known, achievement, probably from a lesser known player, happened a year later in 2005. Again, on this exact day, one Javier Vazquez went the distance against the Detroit Tigers for his 18th career complete game. Diamondbacks won that game against the Tigers by a score of 1-0. And the most impressive part about this is that Javier Vazquez did this after a 3-hour and 14-minute rain delay. Now, Kevin, I know you're not a huge baseball guy, which is crazy. I'm
not a huge baseball guy, but I'm just like, I don't have the depth and wealth of knowledge, the wisdom that you and Jesse do.
Well, I appreciate that because most of the people don't think I have that depth of knowledge either. However, what do you think is more difficult after a long rain delay? Do you think it's pitching or hitting at that point? Like, I feel like pitchers are very routine. So I think to me, it strikes me as being a bit more of an achievement that they went out there and did this that Vasquez did this after this kind of delay. However, again, hitters are hitters. You sit around too long, you start getting stiff, you start not being stretched out, and then you go out there and expect to hit the baseball, and your timing is completely off. Tanner says pitching, and
I agree. Like I feel like the answer is pretty clearly pitching. I think I've never played the sport, right? So I can't really attest to it.
Sure.
But I feel like there's an element to batting, and you can break it down to whatever analytics and whatever individual adjustments and stance, whether your wrists are rotating, whether the bat is staying still on your shoulder, like all these different things can play into batting. But at the end of the day, it's see ball, hit ball, right? You ready to go up there and look at the ball?
Yeah.
What's your mindset going into the at bat? I think pitching, there's so much more involved in, like you said, the routine, the way that you feel about the hitters, the park, the weather.
Plus, you can't go really pitch in a cage the way you can go hit in a cage.
Exactly.
Right? Like I know you could probably get yourself a little tired out with that kind of delay if you go down and hit too much, but I'm sure that there's a way to figure that out. Tanner says, especially when you are a starter, because you kind of come in. In fact, we know that the Jordan Montgomery disastrous season of 2024 all started once Jordan Montgomery had to have a delay due to a bunch of bees making their hive at Chase Field. And then next thing you know, yes, he did not do so. He didn't even start that game. He ended up not pitching in that game. And then things went really bad for him. Another thing that happened, I guess this week, it's on May 31st, so I'm including it in this week. Way back in 2000 was the Diamondbacks turned the first triple play in club history. It was in the 5th inning against, coincidentally enough, the St. Louis Cardinals with Mark McGwire at the plate. Mark McGwire hit into the Diamondbacks' first triple play. Maybe that's why he was so angry when he was a Dodgers coach and he came after us like the Incredible Hulk.
I mean, that might have also been for some, chemistry reasons, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the lack of ability to control rage might be for other reasons, but I'll leave that there.
You might be onto something there. Tanner brings up resign Byung-Hyun Kim. Well, funny you bring that up because on May 29, 2003, Kim was traded to the Boston Red Sox for Mesa, Arizona native Shea Hillenbrand. And that was, I remember, a very exciting trade because everybody was very mad at Kim. And it was very, Shea Hillenbrand was actually a really good player at that time for the Red Sox. I'm sure if I looked up his numbers, they would say otherwise. But I remember we were excited to have him. It was great to have him here. And then it really didn't feel like Hillenbrand ever was as good as fans wanted him to be. Josh Colmenter on May 29, 2014 faced the minimum in a game, 27 batters. He did give up 3 hits, but all 3 batters were erased by double plays in that game. So kind of a big achievement. Not a no-hitter, not a perfect game, but still facing the minimum in a Major League Baseball game was something else. I love Josh Colmenter. I still love listening to him on the radio and seeing him around the ballpark, but I really loved watching Josh Colmenter pitch. In fact, I think I brought this up, but Colmenter was my very first interview that I ever did as a journalist, if you want to call it that. He was my first scrum. I actually had that video come up on my phone as a memory, and let me just tell you, it's a terrible video. I did not know what I was doing at that time. Still don't, you could argue, 13 years later. But again, fun thing that Josh Colmenter faced the minimum. And then you guys might remember a couple of things happened in 2022. Josh Rojas on May 20th, 2022, hit 3 dingers at Wrigley Field, becoming probably a legend in a lot of our eyes for a long time. He became the 8th Diamondback in history to homer in 3 consecutive plate appearances. Then a few days later, Dalton Varsho became the first catcher in Diamondbacks history to hit a leadoff home run. So we miss Dalton Varsho. He's still making incredible plays out there and being an incredible outfielder somehow, some way. But Tanner says the perfect game was crazy, though, for sure. Stephen Mitchell says, post that interview. I don't think you really want that, Stephen. I don't even think you can hear anything that's going on. I was so far behind the other cameras and the media members. I was merely a spectator for that scrum. But again, fun times for sure. Fun times. Well, speaking of fun times, the Arizona Diamondbacks are allowing us to come back and take over their pool. Why? I don't know. Because they love us, because they love me. More importantly, they're probably doing it because it's Shane's birthday. Shane is trying to hijack our pool takeover. But again, you should join us. We're going to have a great time regardless of what the actual reason for us being there is it's on July 3rd. So again, come out, have a pool party with us, and then on July 4th, celebrate with your families, have a pool party at your own house. We're going to be doing this on July 3rd from 5:30 to 10 p.m. We've got the right field pool reserved, and we're inviting you guys to come hang out with us. Tickets, once again, are very limited, so if you are interested in coming to this event, I suggest you look into it very soon because they will be gone before you know it. The ticket does include the game ticket, obviously, to Diamondbacks versus Nationals in the pool, complimentary food, complimentary beverages. You also get a towel that you get to take home with you. And more importantly, what you get to take home with you is memories forever of hanging out with us at the pool. And that is probably one of my favorite events that we've ever done. I had never had a chance up until last year to really even go in the pool area besides the time that I was there to film the Diamondbacks celebrating, right? A few years ago. That was fun that I got to be there for that. But this is one of those events that I highly recommend. And again, if you didn't get a chance to go last year, now is the perfect time to make up for that mistake and join us this year.
Sorry, Derek. I promise I'm paying attention to what you're saying. I'm actually
I don't
just
think you are.
drafting up our weekend series Circle K wager official contract that will be signed on tomorrow's live show.
Okay. Well, we don't have a live show tomorrow, but we'll do it on Saturday.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll get Max involved, and I want to make sure this is legal. I don't want
this will be signed. This will be signed. It'll all be above board, and we will have a contract signing for you folks, so I can make Derek eat some wings when I win this little wager.
I don't like it. Well, we have ourselves again some updates here from Kevin. I need some snappy graphics. We need to go check out Snake Farm. Like a good neighbor, the Snake Farm is there, right? Unfortunately, there's some disappointing news from the Arizona Diamondbacks farm system. Diamondbacks number 4 overall prospect Demetrio Crisantes will miss the entirety of the 2025 season, and that is a definite rough break. He last appeared in a game for the Hillsboro Hops on May 14th. During an at-bat in the 3rd inning, he fouled off a 1-0 pitch and started shaking his left shoulder before calling for the trainer. He finished the at-bat, but apparently it turns out that he has a posterior labral tear in his left shoulder and will undergo season-ending surgery. Again, not necessarily one of the Diamondbacks prospects that was close to being called up or was going to have an impact on the season. It's just unfortunate because Crisantes has done an excellent job at kind of rising up through the ranks. He wasn't really on a lot of people's radars last season and has really become one of the Diamondbacks' top 5 prospects this year. In fact, if you were to take Jordan Lawler out of being a prospect, Demetrio Crisantes would be their 3rd overall prospect for sure here. A big loss, but a guy who will hopefully bounce back. Looking down at some of the other guys so far this season, the Diamondbacks have had some good contributions so far from guys like Tommy Troy and Drew Jones, but there's been some unexpected, like the guys that have stepped up. Catcher Michael Perez, I believe it's Perez is how he pronounces it. He has a 438 BABIP on for the Reno Aces, and he has been doing an excellent job so far this season. Not a guy necessarily that the Diamondbacks was maybe on their radar, not probably somebody who they're going to look to. However, just offensively has been doing a great job in Reno. And quite frankly, the Reno Aces offense can't be trusted at times. You guys understand that. What can be trusted, though, is pitching. And I know that there are guys that there's one guy that a lot of you have been bringing up, and that's Kyle Backus. He could be the Diamondbacks' left-handed savior in the bullpen. So far, he currently has a 2.50 ERA this season for the Reno Aces. And honestly, that'll play. I'm surprised the Diamondbacks haven't already called him up, and I'm sure he's somebody that has quickly become on their radar considering their needs for left-handed pitching this season. What do you got over there, Kevin?
No, I was just giggling at Tanner's comment. Are there Bet365 odds for the Dbacks staying in Arizona?
No. Let's not giggle at his comment because that makes me sad. And I don't know. I don't want there to be. Let's hope there's not. But again, taking a look at some of his stats this year, Backus has been really good for the Reno Aces. He has a 1.04 ERA on the road in 8 games for the Reno Aces. And he's just been a guy that has kind of steadily become better in 11 2/3 innings. In the month of April, he had a 0.77 ERA. Good reason why a lot of fans have been calling for Backus to get an opportunity here for the Diamondbacks, considering how much they're looking for another left-hander to complement Jalen Beeks. And quite frankly, no matter what Joe Mantiply does right now in Reno, makes it hard for me to truly believe that he will be able to come up and contribute at a major league level. I want that from Joe Mantiply so bad because, again, he's returned to AAA and Mantiply continues to put up good numbers, right? I think it's just not a surprise. I brought it up before, but Mantiply is going to be able to go down there and outpitch these minor league guys because he is a good pitcher. But he, again, 1 inning pitched in this current series the Reno Aces are in. No earned runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts for Mantiply. He's going to continue to shove down there. He has a 2.00 ERA, and he's going to continue to be probably somewhat of an option, at least mentally, for the Diamondbacks. Kyle Ament, he's a guy that a lot of people also have been wanting the Diamondbacks to take a shot at. He absolutely had a disastrous outing recently, only going 2/3 of an innings, allowing 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and striking out 2. So again, Diamondbacks options for pitching aren't great. We do have the return of Justin Martinez imminent. There's also a few other returns, and it's interesting how those returns are going to impact the overall roster. Eduardo Rodriguez most likely won't be gone for too much longer. So that looks like, despite how well Ryan Nelson pitches, that Nelly will end up back in the bullpen most likely. And again, decisions are going to have to be made. Luckily, the Diamondbacks can use someone like Nelson in the bullpen. They could use Justin Martinez returning. With how inconsistent this bullpen has been this season, quite frankly. It's the reason why the Diamondbacks struggle. When you take a look at their numbers this season, it's pathetic how bad their ERA is as a team for the bullpen. Last year, the Diamondbacks put up some pretty bad numbers pitching-wise, at least ERA-wise. But the one thing about it was it felt like it was an anomaly, right? It felt like, I think I already used that word. Kevin, you have to ding me now if I use anomaly anymore.
Ding.
It felt like there were reasons that you could look at with last year's pitching staff, with the amount of time Erod missed, with the amount of time Merrill Kelly missed. Gallen had some issues with staying healthy as well. You also had a lot of issues with the bullpen. So even though the Diamondbacks were in the bottom 5 for starting ERA, bottom 5 for pitching staff ERA, it felt like there were reasons that you could address and point to and say that's probably the reason they've been so bad this year. The Diamondbacks right now for their starting pitching ERA have the 9th worst ERA. They are at 4.25. The only comfort that I could possibly bring you is that the Los Angeles Dodgers currently have the 8th worst ERA in baseball at 4.30. So the Dodgers starting ERA is worse than ours. Hurrah. A couple of other teams you wouldn't expect to be down there, Boston Red Sox as well. And then that's about it, because all the other teams are the Nationals, the Marlins, the Athletics, the Orioles, the Rockies. All the teams you expect to be at the bottom. But when you look at relief ERA, the Diamondbacks, once again, are right there with the bottom of baseball. Los Angeles Angels have the worst bullpen ERA at 6.66. You're splashing holy water on them at that point, right? You're bringing in a priest to do some sort of exorcism on the bullpen. I mean, in the middle of a game, too. I'm not waiting until after the game. Nationals, 2nd worst bullpen ERA at 6.41. Athletics, which is still weird to see without a city connected to it, 5.69 for the 3rd worst ERA for a bullpen. And there for the 4th worst bullpen ERA, the Arizona Diamondbacks at 5.28. below the Marlins, below the Orioles, below the White Sox. The White Sox, Marlins, and Orioles all have a better team ERA from their bullpen than the Diamondbacks do. The Brewers, the Phillies, the Rockies bullpen ERA is 4.48. The Diamondbacks is 5.28. Oh, man. This is frustrating. Well, RA says we did it, guys. We did it. Yeah, no, I don't. We didn't do anything. And whatever we've been doing, we're not doing it the right way. So we need something from these relievers, and hopefully bringing guys back. Justin Martinez, the addition of other relievers that the Diamondbacks have been missing are going to be key for this team. But again, Kyle Backus absolutely could be that guy for this team that the Diamondbacks are hoping to get from the minor league system. I'm not gonna lie. Espo's crawling around here on the floor in front of me, and it's quite amusing. But he's no selling it. He's not going to acknowledge at all his existence. He didn't pop up once. He's a true professional, ladies and gentlemen. It's because he left his laptop and his other goods in here, and I respect it, quite frankly. Kevin, I mean, do you have any notes for Espo's crawling through the room in the middle of our show? I feel like people had to have heard that on the mic, right? There was no way they didn't hear that.
The only thing, as I try to fight back my laughter, that I would have added to that is him popping up directly in the middle. And just going, ahoy, hoy, and then popping back down.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I did want to spy on our exes, Kevin, but I don't know. Do we want to spy on our exes? Do we really want to continue to talk?
Why not? Sure.
Yeah, let's spy on our exes. I always love to take a look at what our exes are doing. Of course, we love our exes, especially Christian Walker. And Christian Walker continues to have struggles this season. So as much as Josh Naylor has struggled, right? As much as Josh Naylor has been a guy, which honestly, I do feel like as the season has progressed, we've seen Josh Naylor make some better defensive plays. I feel like Naylor, once again, is putting in the work. He's trying his best to be as defensively sound. And again, it feels like as we've moved on, we're seeing less and less of those like little fundamental mistakes that we've seen out of him. Meanwhile, Christian Walker has a minus 0.3 WAR this season, or B WAR, I should say. He's currently hitting 199 with 5 home runs. Again, he's slashing 199, 270, 337 for a 607 OPS, an OPS plus of 72. Meanwhile, Josh Naylor, not to rub it in, not to do my current first baseman is better than my ex-first baseman. He currently has a 0.4 WAR, positive on the other side of things, not negative, positive side of things. Josh Naylor is batting nearly 100 points higher at 290. He has a 356 on-base percentage, 435 slug. He has a 791 OPS and a 120 OPS plus. Josh Naylor has been excellent for the Arizona Diamondbacks. That trade has absolutely worked out for this team. And at this point, my honest opinion is I do know, once again, as we've taken a look at the Snake Farm, that the Diamondbacks do have some potential options there. One of those options is Trey Mancini, but that might be a dwindling option. He might not be around for too much longer just with the Diamondbacks organization. Seems like he's been able to get things together. And again, he's a guy that could probably help a major league team at this season, perhaps. I don't know how things are going to go with Mancini, and I don't know the future. But Tristan English is another name there that the Diamondbacks have in their organization. But, I mean, with Josh Naylor becoming a free agent at the end of the season, he would probably be second on my priority list right now as far as re-signing a player behind Merrill Kelly. And I know Merrill Kelly is getting up there in age himself, but he is still excellent. Merrill strikes me as the kind of guy that could pitch until he's like 45 years old, like Randy Johnson. Like Merrill's just going to be old and still doing it to guys. He's going to be like, he's going to be like Dick Mountain. He's going to be out there like Dick Mountain. Rich Hill, Dick Mountain.
For sure.
Kevin shot me a look like we were going to be censored, and I was going to get a phone call from Jacob. No phone calls from you today, Faj. That one's not. I didn't give him that name. Society did.
Damn, Jacob don't just ever call you to say hi? Damn.
Jacob never calls me just to say hi. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Jacob doesn't text me unless I messed up.
It's like I just know I did something wrong if I see a phone call from Jacob. Or he's going to complain to me for 55 minutes straight about the bullpen and the Diamondbacks not being able to get their act together. But
I count that as friendly.
It's a little aggressive, but yeah, sure.
Pity party friends.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like let's be sad and let's do this together. But I do a show every day about it. Like that's where you can join us for the show. You can be in here like the rest of you are and lament with us in here, right?
I do get that because like I do Wildcats obviously, and obviously I went to Arizona, bear down. But so sometimes when my friends from Arizona want to talk Arizona stuff, I'm like, damn, I just did that for 8 hours this week. I could recycle all my takes now.
Don't even get me started on how little I want to talk about sports outside of doing this show. They're like, there was a time where Saul was like, if you don't love it and breathe it and live it, then get out. And I was seriously thinking about getting up and walking out the door because I'm like, I like to watch pro wrestling and cartoons sometimes and eat cereal sometimes. I just like to have, those things in life. But
speaking of cereal, I hear rumor on the streets, there was a horse and a man was on the horse, and they just rode by and told me the contract might be on its way to the studio before the end of this show.
Let's go. All right. Well, I'm excited to sign it. We're going to definitely put that bet into place. Someone in the chat, Tanner says, is Jock Peterson improving? The short answer is no, he's not. Jock Peterson is definitely still struggling. Jock Peterson has 15 hits this season and 118 at bats. He has 2 home runs. He's batting 127. He has 6 RBIs. He scored 9 runs. That's all Jock Peterson has done this year. He has an OPS of 502 with an OPS plus of 47. What's funny about this is I like these guys a lot. So this kind of doesn't feel as much like a dunking on them as I would like it to. Like sometimes when guys leave your organization voluntarily, you're kind of like, hey, ha, ha, ha. But I like these guys. Me and Jock Peterson, both huge Whataburger fans. So that's never going to change. I know no free ads, but I don't know. I think Max is busy doing a contract right now, so he's not going to know I said that. But again, I do love both of these guys. And honestly, I kind of wanted them to have success. This didn't really feel like a situation where I wanted this to work out in this way. You almost just want it to be like, can both teams be happy? Can the Diamondbacks get a replacement that's adequate and does a good job? And can that player also go on to find success? But from a business perspective, you have to be pretty happy that the Diamondbacks didn't invest in these guys. Obviously, we don't know how they would have performed here versus where they're currently at. That could be contributing to their struggles as well. We know the Diamondbacks did an excellent job at using Jock Peterson in a very savvy way. And we also know that obviously Christian Walker kind of grew up here in a way and became a major league ball player here. His best years were here in Arizona. And again, the impact of him going to a new team might be some of the reasons why he's struggling. He also has had some health issues with his oblique, which was a problem for him last year. But at least the Diamondbacks definitely dodged a bullet on giving either of those guys huge contracts that would now be regretful, considering we have our own series of regretful contracts that we have to worry about. We don't need to take on anymore. Before we get out of here, I did want to say that today is my father's birthday, and my father passed away a few years ago. I just wanted to give him a happy birthday shout out. My dad was an incredible man, is still an incredible man to me, and we were just talking about how with the Make-A-Wish situation the other day my father was the first national president of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, so it's always cool to see that Make-A-Wish is still doing amazing things for amazing children. And again, big part of the day the other day with the Diamondbacks signing a new brand new player. Speaking of signing, we have a contract here in place, and it's ready to go. We're gonna sign it live on air. We're gonna do it before we get out of here. Wow, I'm not doing this now. I gotta read this. I gotta make sure.
It's the exact things we just discussed.
Rules and regulations. Should the Cardinals win, Kevin will treat you to a Circle A lunch. More and more cereal must be a part of the. So see, you have to eat cereal when you win. Do you see?
Oh, okay. So swap those.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's like.
Here's what we'll do.
No, this is why you read the contract, Kevin. This is why you read the contract.
We have witnesses. I'm going to amend this contract, and we're going to sign it. And there will be no
funny business.
No
funny business. This is funny business. Well, I'm going to remind you while he's updating that, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. He is at Kevo Post. Our show is at PHNX _Dbacks. But as always, all roads lead to at PHNX _sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Give me the contract. I'll sign it. Let's do it. This is real. All right. We're done. It's done. It's real. watch out. I can't wait to make him eat cereal. So we're going to do that. He swapped it. I'm not eating hot wings. I might just eat hot wings for fun. But anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. We will be back on Saturday with a post-game show. So make sure to join us for that. Hopefully that breaks up the weekend lists shows, especially considering we're off on Monday, Memorial Day. I hope you're off as well. But of course, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. We will be back to settle this bet on Tuesday. So that's going to be something. But of course, until then, want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Watch some snakes. Eat some steaks. Watch some snakes and eat some steaks. And of course, behave yourselves. We appreciate you for your time. Time is your most valuable commodity. We appreciate you sharing it with us. We'll see you back here on Saturday. Until then, have a wonderful weekend. Remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you bet on it with your friends over food.
We all silly like the mayor.